Hey Jammers, Brandy Sweezy here with your Hangout tutorials. So to log in, you just need to grab your super admin link from your webinar Jam dashboard. Now, Google plays well with Google products, so we're going to want to go ahead and pop that into Google Chrome. So I copy and pasted that right there. Then it tells you that you're about to join a Hangout on air. This is the one that streams live to YouTube. You do need to make sure that you are verified on your YouTube channel so that you can have uploads of 15 minutes or more. All you have to do is go into your YouTube channel, into Video Manager, and make sure that your YouTube you are verified on your YouTube channel so that you can have uploads of 15 minutes or more. All you have to do is go into your YouTube channel, into Video Manager, and make sure that your YouTube channel is verified. You just go into Video. Manager, which so into dashboard. And then we want to go to channel settings. And then just make sure that you're verified. All you have to do for that is pop in your telephone number that sends you a text message, and then you'll make sure that you can have longer videos of up to 15 minutes. So here we are in the dashboard. This talks about the copyright issues. Obviously, don't play any music or anything on your Hangouts. Make sure that there's nothing that has a, some type of branding on it. So you want to be really aware of that. So once you understand that, you say, okay, I've got it. And voila, you're in a Hangout on air. I'm going to go ahead and pause this for just 1 second. Okay, so now you're in a Hangout on air. So if you're about to join one and you're the first one here, so you go ahead and say, yep, I'd like to join. And I'm not sure why it's doing that, so we'll pause it. Okay, so you can see here that you are off air. So this is what is technically called the green room. You want to make sure that you have all tabs closed. Turn off your Skype, turn off your Dropbox, shut down your mail, everything, because there will be a sort of delayed response if you don't shut everything down. Actually, in fact, it's always best to go ahead and restart your computer and start from scratch right when you do a Hangout to ensure that everything's shut down. So it'll say off air here. There's some enhancements over here where you can enhance it, change the way that the picture looks. I don't suggest doing this unless you have really reliable upload and download speeds, because if not, it just takes another toll on the bandwidth. So down here's the big start broadcast button. This is a good time to set up your Hangout and make sure that everybody is in and comfortable. Your webinar jam is already automatically loaded. So up here at the top is how you hang up, I should say. Here are your settings tab. Your settings tab is if you have a USB camera, Logitech C920, you can just choose that from the drop-down menu, and you can see that it looks like a different picture. And I also use the blue snowball. Whatever you have, if you have any USB, you can do those. And then I make sure to wear a headset so that there's no feedback. And then you can push save, and now it just looks like a totally different Hangout. Here's where you adjust the bandwidth. It's always good to have the bandwidth all the way up. This is where you turn your camera on and off. When you're turning your camera on and off, your photo that you have in your G+ profile is the photo that is going to show up. So that's how you turn your camera on and off. This is also how you mute and unmute people. So you can mute yourself if you have to cough or take a sip of water. And then we can turn that off. Now you have the links in your Webinar Jam profile. Here's the attendees login link. You have all of those there. But should anything go wrong, the quickest and easiest way to invite people is actually to take this URL, copy that, and send that to them in an email. I like to keep that, in a little a clipboard document so that I have that to use for the future. All right, so that was just a quick broad overview. Then we'll go into the different apps within Hangouts. See you soon. Bye. Hey Jammers, Brandy Sweezy here, your Hangout producer, here to give you the ins and outs of Hangouts inside of Webinar Jam. Couple things. One, always be hardwired. Do not use Wi-Fi when doing Google Hangouts. This is the #1 issue that happens with Hangouts, with people dropping in and out of the Hangout. If you're using Wi-Fi, that is not going to be a high enough speed. So it's really important to be hardwired. Next, it's important to close every single tab. No Dropbox running in the background. No Skype running in the background. The only tabs you want open is your Webinar Jam tab going on. It's actually best case scenario to go ahead and restart your computer prior to doing a Hangout. This will avoid everything. This will avoid most of the issues that you will have within Hangouts. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use your super admin login link and log into Webinar Jam using Google Chrome. Google Chrome, Google products seem to play better with Google products. So you're just going to take that super admin login link, go over to Google Chrome, and just paste it in there. And then, voila, you will be in your Hangout. It will take you through the normal legalities of that you're about to do a live Hangout on air, and you'll just want to start it right from there. All right, so those were the important parts of the video. Now we're going to take a tour of Google Hangouts. See you on the next video. Hey Jammers, Brandy Sweezy here, your Hangout producer, and welcome back. Let's talk about sound control, or the control room as it's known. In the control room, you as the Hangout producer, administrator, initiator of the Hangout can control the sound of your guests. You can also hide them from the broadcast, and you can also mute them if necessary. Sometimes they'll have some kind of, echoing sound going on. You may want to mute them until they can work that out. Talk to them in the private chat. Tell them what you need to do. You can raise their voice, lower their voice. If they're not coming through and they don't have good audio, the control room is a great app for that. And everyone will be listed here, and I'll show the photo here. And that's perfect if you want to control the sound. Pretty quick and easy one. See you on the next one. Jammers, welcome back. Randy Sweezy here, your Hangout producer. So now let's talk about apps. Over here on the left-hand side are some apps that are created by Google, and then there's also apps created by developers. So we're going to go through these just a little bit quickly, and then I'll go through each one specifically. So there's an internal chat, which is not necessary because you'll be using the Webinar Jam platform for that. The next is screen share. The screen share will do an entire thing on how to do a presentation within Google Hangouts. This will be with PowerPoints and with Keynote. The next one down is the Q&A app. Not necessary to use this. This is only if you were going to run a Hangout in an event, which I don't suggest doing anyway. The next button down is the capture button. Never, ever, ever touch this. It will screen capture, and it sounds great in theory, but it even crashed the White House Hangout. So if you must take a screenshot, just go ahead and do Command-Shift-4 if you're on a Mac. I don't know what the speed on is on a PC, but just know that. The next app down is called the Cameraman app. And I love this app because this is really important when you're going to determine whether you want to have the film strip or if you do not want the film strip. And the film strip is like where you see this the little U here. That's where all of your people are down here below. You can hide that or not hide that. And then you can, and these are those settings. Here, okay, so setting number 1, this is really important. As guests join, hide their audio and video from my broadcast. That's a personal decision, but know that, whatever you have that setting on, that's usually part of the troubleshooting process. When someone new comes into a Hangout, they're automatically muted. And so you want to make sure, determine that setting and then also know to troubleshoot with your guests when they come in. The next one down is broadcast a large video that I see to my audience and hide the other video feeds. What that means is only the person in the main screen will show up, and there'll be none of those little thumbnails, what we also call the film strip. There'll be no thumbnails there. You can hide those if you want, or you can leave them depending on this setting. And as guests join, large 3+, are they auto-muted when they join? It's already defaulted to yes. Just determine whether you want to do that or not. But just know that because of that setting, that's usually where you're going to run into audio and video issues. We're going to talk about some other apps here in a second, but while we're in here, I want to just show you where you find the apps is where there's a ... down here, and you can do add more apps. Now, I am a firm believer, though. These apps are fantastic. I'm a firm believer in less is more in a Hangout. You have less, chances of things going wrong. So we just have all of these apps here, and you can explore them, but I do suggest, just being really cautious not to run too many apps. All right, thanks, Jammers. I'll see you on the next video. Hey Jammers, Brandy Susie here, your Hangout producer, and welcome back. This module is about blue boxing. So normally what will happen is a Hangout will be sound activated. So if you've watched any Hangouts, they'll be flipping back and forth based on the most minuscule of sounds. And if you've watched any Hangouts like that, it's quite annoying because you almost get seasick watching it. So the way to prevent that is what is called blue boxing. So if I click on this link, this is the one that has my laptop. The other one was the one with my iPhone 5 sitting here. And I just am using this as an example of how to use the blue boxing. So if you'll notice, a little blue rim goes around the thumbnail. So if it's you and another guest and you're having a conversation, you're going back and forth, you'll just click and it'll move over to the other person. Just click and it'll move over to the other person. Now, if that becomes too much for you, you can go ahead and just click it again and take the blue boxing off. Just know that it's going to be sound activated and flip back and forth. I have to have both cameras muted because of it'll do this echo on this recording. So I'm going to go back to this main one because it's going to be quite annoying to watch. Another great reason for blue boxing, and I want to show you an example of this, is also for presentations. If you're doing presentations and you have an extra computer, you can be in a Hangout as yourself from multiple devices. So you could have your presentation going on in another computer on your laptop or your desktop, and then you would just blue box the presentation, and then you would come back and blue box yourself, and then go back and blue box the presentation. I never recommend, obviously, doing it from your iPhone or your iPad. Obviously, the quality goes way down, but it's just important to know how to do that. All right, thanks, Jammers. See you on the next one. Dreamers, Brandy Sweezy here, your Hangout producer. Now let's talk about presentations. Presentations, there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. Now, obviously, we can go into screen share. The thing is when you do screen share and it's just you in a Hangout and you share your desktop, this is what happens. So it does this bizarre infinity thing. I hope at some point they're going to go ahead and fix that, but it's been like that for about a year, so I don't see that happening anytime soon. So here are a couple of workarounds. A lot of people have found a variety. Here are my two particular favorite because they're just quick and easy. So let me go ahead and turn the screen share off so it stops being so distracting, and we'll turn that off. So if you use PowerPoint, and this is the easiest way for PowerPoints. If you have your slides built out in PowerPoint, you can go into My Google Drive, which is drive.google.com, and then just create a presentation. So you can go into Create Presentation, and then you can just import your slides, and they will go ahead and just be in there, and they'll all move in. I'm not going to do it because it's a little time consuming, but you just say OK, and then do File, Import My Slides. There we go, import slides, and then they'll just be in there. You can also just build them out in, in the Google Drive. Another way, so once they're built out in the Google Drive, so here's just an example of one. You want to go to Present in New Window over here on the right. So we'll do Present in New Window. Now, the reason why I like this is because if you're running your own Hangout, then I can just go ahead and resize this way down and just pop it up in the corner so that when I'm in my Hangout, it's pretty easy for me to find it. So then when I go into screen share, I can just go ahead and pick this one and start screen share. And so there are my slides. Now, they might look a little, it's taking a second for it to filter out and set up. And then you can just move them from here. Once you're clicked on the slide, I just use the keyboard. I use the arrows on the keyboard so it doesn't have that slide thing there. So that's how you would do it with PowerPoint and Google Drive presentation. Now, if you use Keynote, which is what I in particular use, you can export your slides as a QuickTime. And I know a lot of people get caught up in that it'll advance on its own. Nope, all you have to do, and you don't want the latest version of Keynote, it needs to be an older version. You can go into File, export your slides, export as a QuickTime, and make sure that Manual Advance is there, and then just click Next. And then we'll put that on my desktop, and we'll wait for that. I'm going to pause the video, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the export is done. So then we have it over here on the desktop. Same thing. I like to be able to see what's going on in the Hangout as well. So I go ahead and resize it down just a tad. Excuse me. Then once it's resized, then I can just go into screen share. And then it's the one thing that's open on my desktop. Start screen share. And I like the way that this looks. And then if we click over here, we can use the arrows on our keyboard to advance the slides. And that is the beauty of it, because it'll keep your transitions as well. And it's nice and clean. You can play around with the sizing of it, but this way I can go ahead and move through my slides fairly quickly. And then also, it keeps the formatting and it keeps the transitions. And that would be the second way. The third way, like I said in another video in Blue Boxing, another way to do a presentation is if you don't want to mess with any of those, is to go ahead, if you have an extra computer, have your presentation on another computer, you be on this one, but you don't have to click screen share. It's a lot smoother. It goes a lot more seamlessly. It is a little bit extra if you got a lot going on in the Hangout, but at least it goes a little bit smoother. And the other way is obvious custom overlays that we talked about in the Hangout Toolbox module, which you could just pop up your calls to action just like that. I think it's great if you have 5 to 6 visuals, you can have them already saved and you can click on them that way. So whichever way you prefer, that's how you do presentations in Hangouts. See you on the next one.
Hmm. Well,